Hello, BookTube. I'm Peg, back wishing you a happy new year. Well, I finished up all that I was supposed to finish and wanted to, and I had a great time in December reading all the books on Steve's best list. If you've watched my channel, you know I was going daily to the library as he put out his lists, and almost had the 100 maximum checked out at one time. And the librarians, I'm sure, wonder where I am these days, uh, and why all the books are checked back in. But I've just been trying to think about what I want to read for the new year. I love reading other people's plans of what they're doing for the new year and challenges, etc. And the exact great challenge or list of books came out for me yesterday. And I'm so excited about it. I love historical fiction, but I just don't know really what to read in it. Let's see. Did I leave mine? Okay. Anyway, Steve Donahue, before he closed down for his retreat or wherever he is, said he thought this coming year was going to be a great year for historical fiction. And just yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah. Mel and Victoria, I'm sure you all know who they are, but I'm putting their links to their announcements down at the bottom, came out with this fantastic, I guess, challenge or whatever, to read historical fiction called Reading Through the Ages. And it's not just, they give wonderful suggestions. They do it on a bingo card that you can print out. And the best part is they have a Goodreads group, which I immediately joined. And on the Goodreads group, people can write in suggestions they have for the different categories. So I quickly went through the categories, and unfortunately the library's closed, but I'll be hitting it soon for some of these books. And I just wanted to share with you what I plan to read. I just am loving this already, and I think it'll be really fun for the whole year. And I caught a little hint that they might do it again other years with different time periods and suggestions. So anyway, I definitely want to take part in this. So I picked out the 4 categories. You can find the categories yourself of the times that I know the very least about. Because I like to read historical fiction for the learning value of it, and I find it's much easier to read about and learn about history through a novel than just reading history. So anyway, let me just go through quickly what I've picked out. Most of their suggestions. As I said, on the Goodreads group is the best part, because they have a bookshelf there where they're putting all their selections and suggestions for the different areas. And other people are starting to put in their suggestions. It's just going to be great. Okay, let's go here. The first one I'm doing that I know nothing about is the medieval Middle East. And one of the ones they suggested is called A Shadow of the Swords, and it's subtitled The Epic Novel of the Crusades. This is on Script. It's pretty, I don't even know if it's on Kindle, but anyway, a lot of these are on Script. If you happen to take that, they tend to take the older and more literary type books and that are on and put it on Script. So you might want to look into that. Anyway, this is, as I said, an epic novel of the Crusades, and I looked it up, and it's actually the story of the Crusades from the Muslims' point of view. So actually, I tried to read a little bit about Crusades. I wasn't even sure who was fighting who, but we will. I don't need to tell you how much I didn't know about history. But anyway, this has characters and looks really good. Now, when I was looking up that one, I saw that there's another one by this author written beforehand called Mother of the Believers, and it's a novel of the birth of Islam, and I actually started reading that. I'm good at starting reading things. It's also a script, and it has to do with the start of the Islam and the leader and how he came to find out why he was chosen, and his just the story around that which I really knew nothing about. It's got really good, interesting characters in it. So, okay, so those are the two for medieval Mideast that I'm going into. And then the next one I chose is Africa before 1800. Again, I don't even really know much about Africa now, let alone before 1800. And the book that was in there suggested that looked the very best to me was called Fire of Origins. It's a novel translated from the French. It was written some time ago, but it actually want to learn as much as I can about each area. And this is actually talks about the whole of African history, and they do it using a little bit of myth, and it's lyrical and surreal. Uses the one character who manages to bring the different eras of the African history together, which sounds really interesting. And I love a little bit of surrealism in my novels, so that really looks good. Also on Scrib. Okay, next one is medieval China, and they say that medieval China is between 500 and 1500 AD, and one of the ones suggested, I believe, by Victoria of Alexander, is the Under Heaven by Guy Gavriel Kay. This is about the Tang dynasty of 8th century China, and again it deals with actual people. This is a author I've read before. I guess you'll call him a adult fantasy author. He's written some very good fantasy books about different eras, and is really good with his portrayal of settings and atmosphere. Actually, I have this one that I found out about on Goodreads. Tagana, a group, was reading through it, and as I said, it's I guess a literary type of fantasy. The story is the things, the characters are actual, and the feel of the times is there. So I wouldn't. It's not pure fantasy, in other words, if that's a problem. Okay, and the last category. Oh wait, I did that. This one, Under Heaven, has another one following it, just in case I like it, called River of Stars, also by Guy Gavriel Kay, which I'd heard quite a bit about, and it also gives a lot of info about ancient China. Okay, and the last category that I'm really interested in for right now is called Roman Europe. Again, I vaguely knew that the Romans were in Europe, but not much, so this should help me. The one I've chosen to read for that is The Eagle of the Ninth, and it has to do with a young Roman officer in Britain, and there's a mysterious disappearance of the Ninth Legion, which is a whole group of people. They disappear. They marched into the mists of northern Britain and never returned. So he goes looking for them. That sounds good, and it's not really very long. Actually, the audio of that is on Scrib. Okay, so I assume probably everybody that watches me knows well Mel and Victoria's channel, but if for some reason you haven't looked at it, I'll put them down below. And as I said, the main great part is all the suggestions you're going to get. So I hope a lot of you will be following me up here. And I'll be back soon because we have some book prizes coming up again that I'll be talking about too. So Happy New Year, everybody. See you later. Bye.